So what's going on with that emergency button in prisons and jails? Most of the time when they put you in a cell, there's an emergency button. You push the button and it alerts the officer and they'll come over the intercom and ask you a question. I shared a post recently where I said that I pushed the emergency button a whole bunch of times and they charged me with the charge and then sent that charge to the prison I went to and told them to take away my good time. So the emergency button is just that. It's an emergency button. Like if you are in an emergency. So I had kind of a mental breakdown when they put me in this cell. I was confused. I was overwhelmed. There was a variety of factors, but I was really struggling and I started pushing the emergency button. And they came in and told me, and it was an isolation cell, so they wouldn't let me out. And I said, I need to use a phone. I need to call someone. I was really overwhelmed and scared and didn't really know why I was there. I wasn't thinking clearly. And the officer came in and said, don't push that emergency button. We'll see if we can find someone to help you. And then 15 minutes later, I pushed the emergency button again. And eventually what I did was I pulled up the pad that they gave me, I laid on the floor and used my toe to just keep pushing the emergency button. So I think that the annoyance of having that intercom go buzz, buzz, buzz was why they tell people not to push the button. And I'm sure there are people that come in, especially in a county jail, and they're drunk or not thinking clearly, and they push the emergency button and it makes everybody mad. But for me, I was really struggling mentally and scared and probably needed to see somebody that could calm me down and tell me why I was there. I was actually, this is the crazy part, they had put me in the county jail to have a mental evaluation done because I wasn't talking. It was right before I went to trial and my words were slurring, everything. I was so overwhelmed and scared. They put me in the county jail, put me in an isolation cell, and I'm supposed to be getting a mental evaluation. I waited there for a week and then they transferred me around to a bunch of facilities, which made things worse. And when I finally got to the facility in Seattle SeaTac where they did the mental evaluation, they put me again in an isolation cell and I started pushing the emergency button. Needless to say, they ended up charging me with a new charge for that, which wouldn't mean anything while I was there. But when I got to prison, they can take away your good time for that. Luckily, they chose not to. That's why the emergency button, they don't want you to push it.